Walk me through that life cycle from where it's born.
When the sea turtle, when the mom, she comes out and she excavates that nest out to deposit her eggs, and she may, during that season, she'll do multiple nests. And she'll do like a decoy nest to kind of sloppy, that to try kind of fool the animals.
Clever.
The idea is you do multiple nests so your entire clutch isn't lost. And then, she's laying between 30 and 70 eggs.
Okay.
A little bigger than a ping pong ball. And then she goes back to sea. When she comes out to nest, she is nesting on the very beach where she was born.
Amazing.
Where her life began. And she is the only time a sea turtle, for the most part, with few places like Hawaii will have this phenomenon of sea turtles that actually will sleep on the beach. Most sea turtles become pelagic. A sea turtle born that hatches out on Florida may find its way. We've tracked them to the coast of Africa.
Oh my gosh.
Sea turtles from Africa have shown up feeding in the Horn of Cape Cod, Massachusetts.
Incredible.
So they are incredibly adaptive of using the ocean's currents to go from A to B or go from the New World to the Old World.
And we can find them in all of the oceans, essentially, right?
We even have some sea turtles that go into the Arctic.
What?
Think of sea turtles as being cold-blooded and not being warm-blooded, being endothermic. But they are the only turtle that is megathermic. Because they are so big, they are like their own they're a closed-loop energy system. So the nest is laid there, and she will go back to sea. And only the females will come out. Males will spend their whole lives in the ocean.
At sea. Isn't that something?
And when they hatch out, if they're lucky enough, if they're that 1 in 10,000 that survive the flood, that survive that high tide, that survive the coyotes or the raccoons, that survive the ghost crabs and all the fish that will eat them, then they'll come back 20 years later. It will take 2 decades for that mom to come to the beach, excavate that nest out, and bring that next generation in. So that's kind of how the cycle works.
The recovery of the green sea turtle didn't happen by accident. It happened because people decided it would. But the threats that nearly wiped them out haven't disappeared, and some new ones have arrived.
So green sea turtles were listed on the endangered species list. And that made a big difference, at least in the U.S. and in North America, in their protection. And and I think it also made a difference worldwide.
It did, because they were protected internationally, the IUCN and other groups. And there was there's still places where people eat green turtles and other sea turtles. The green turtle is the one that's actually eaten the most. People don't eat leatherbacks.
And they're eating this green meat.
Yeah.
But
it's like, that's what they say is, I've been to places where I've seen it being cooked in the streets of Indonesia and other places. But that was the most hunted sea turtle. They would hunt them for their eggs. And sometimes they would just literally get them all on board, cut them open, remove the eggs. And you look at those old National Geographic photos, and you don't really see that anymore. But they still face future challenges. One is a warming world.
Yeah.
And how do we combat that? And the other are plastics.
Okay, talk to me about plastics in the ocean.
Yeah, we dump 10 billion pounds of plastics every year into our oceans. And you can see that as blue as a beautiful bluebird morning in New England. I've been to the Trash Pacific Gyre, and I've seen that, and where you see something that looks like an island that is hundreds of miles in size of this gyro of trash that has all come together. And there are places where beautiful Bali, for example, you go there and they have to every day, because people have spent all this money to be a tourist in beautiful Bali, they have to come in with excavators and front end loaders every morning just to clean the trash off the beach. And that is a preventable thing. It is something we could mitigate. So that's the good news. If we decided we could eliminate almost all of the plastic trash that goes into our oceans. There's a way we could manage that. But it's been documented that one like big landscape plastic bag, you know, those plastic bags that's really tough.
Yeah.
Can kill 5 individual sea turtles
Just
before
one.
it's broken up enough into little pieces that it could pass through. And I have been to so many sea turtle hospitals where that is it. So you have them eating plastics, and then off Florida, boat strikes. Big problem. And then they have diseases that may be the result of climate change, may be the result of pollution. They have it's a papilloma type virus where they get these tumors, and they'll often get them in and they'll remove the tumors and stuff. So they have challenges. But overall, I don't like to look at things as good news or success. I would say it's a promising story.
Okay.
It's a hopeful story. We are at a place of uncertainty and hope with green sea turtles and all the other sea turtles that we have out there. But I would argue we are there where we have this out of sight, out of mind. Oh, we fixed it.
Sure.
We live in a world now where, whether you like it or not, in the last century, humankind has consumed 70 to 80% of all our planet's nature. We, whether we like it or not, have been given this responsibility to be our planet's stewards. And that is something that will always require vigilancy.